Mm. So how are you doing? How was your Easter? How did you celebrate? Never. Okay. Anyway, did you eat kulich? Okay. So it means I don't celebrate. It means you don't go to the church, right? Typically, but anyway, um, you have lunch or dinner with family, yeah. Okay, that's good. Me too. We also had lunch with family. We went to the country house. Gathered all together. It's also precious and valuable nowadays, especially. We appreciate it. Okay, so we have two lessons left, and today we will talk how to describe results and result and discussion part of the research. What's the difference between them and what should be included? We will analyze some material, and after that the last part will be introduction and of the research and annotation of the research. Do you need to write annotation for your report? But when you are in front of the commission board talking about your dissertation, or not dissertation, research, so it's a short presentation of your research part, all the main parts of the research and conclusions. Okay, anyway, the parts for this presentation, what they include? What do they include? The parts of this. And what about application part? What's your application part? And the results, yeah, how it works, yeah. Okay, so their structure is the same as abstract part, but in the form of slides. So okay, let's start. If we look at the research, even in some serious articles which have the research part itself, the investigation of something, we've got there are several sections of the article, for example, scientific article or any scientific work, which has several sections. So the introductory part, the main part, also the result part, and discussion. Result and discussion. It might be two separate parts. It might be one part, like all together. Results and discussion section. And conclusion. And the information in the results section and in the discussion section a bit different. Not a lot, but a bit. Any ideas? What's the difference between these two parts? Just your opinion. Okay, so the results part, it's what you get, after your research, what you get. And the discussion part, it's a part where you explain how you interpret these results. So your just personal opinion about interpretation of these results. So it's like subjective opinion, like results are objective, what we've got, and subjective explanation, how you understand these results and what are the consequences of these results. It's a discussion part. And sometimes in some research, we've got some information what was investigated before us, right? And we, in discussion part, we can compare our results with the results which were achieved by someone before in other researchers. So like it's explanation part of the results. And that is why if the research is not so big, and it has, for example, one research question, the part of results and discussion, they will be connected together. But if the research is more deep and has more questions, they might be separate, depending on the volume it has. So some papers include a conclusion section. What's the difference between result section and conclusion section? No, not result and discussion section and conclusion section.
I think discussion, it's my opinion about all work and
not the whole work, but the part of the results.
Yeah, about some results, but conclusion about the whole work.
Yes, right. Conclusion, it's about the whole work. Correct. Okay, and there are 3 extracts in part B from the research paper. How do you think when you read these 3 extracts, which part of the research might it be? It's materials and method section, the result section and or the discussion section. So A, B, and C. Let's divide them.
Maybe A it's results, because we have some numbers in it, and that's all. B, I think it's a discussion, and C it's a conclusion.
Right. So, and the first A is results, because results data, are presented in discussion section, and like explanations of these results, interpretations. And the last one, yes, it's more general information about materials and methods which are used in the research. Okay, and also here we have highlighted words, and there are some extracts, so which highlighted words or phrases can describe these extracts. What describes changes to the materials? Which word might be used?
Arranging between.
Describe changes.
Changes.
Okay. Describing an experimental process.
Maybe
The process.
the mind.
Also performed, verb performed. Yeah. Okay. Introduce a significant result.
Attained. Maybe.
The highest.
The
like,
highest.
Yeah, significant. Yeah, like the highest. Introduce the highest and lowest values that were looked at.
It's ranging between.
Okay. And describe changes to the materials. What happens? Yeah, it's carbonization and activation. The next one, introduce the researcher's conclusion.
Contained.
There
will be. Therefore.
Therefore, yeah. Make a confident prediction. That's
will be.
Yes, right. Means the same as looked at, like synonymic word.
also performed.
This one.
Mm.
Examined. And means the same as researched successfully. Oh, reached successfully.
Also performed, maybe.
Це як виконали, а це досягли чогось. Attained. Because attained, it is translated also like досягли. Yeah? Okay. So, listening part about the results section. So we will listen to the researchers, future researchers, which are discussing the results part, and a lady is giving some pieces of advice to a man how to improve the results section of the paper, what is worth using, what better not to use, and so on. And here is some notes of this conversation, and in these notes we've got some missing words. So pay attention to just look through these notes, and while you're listening, you can find out what are these missing words. Okay. Have you looked through? Okay, so let me know if you need some pauses. If not, just listen the whole text and the whole conversation, and after that we will fill in the gaps. Okay.
8.3. So my discussion section should explain how my results relate to my hypothesis, what they mean.
Yes. So, for example, you could talk about how the fluorine groups are important for electron transfer. That would be an interpretation.
Okay, so in terms of the order, should I work through my discussion in the same order I used for the results?
Yeah, definitely. You need to basically comment on all the results you mentioned in the same order and say what they mean.
And can I mention any new results in this part, or just the ones I've already written about in the results section?
If it's a result worth mentioning, it should be in the results.
And do I need to mention the results again? I assume not, but don't I need to remind the reader what the results were before I interpret them?
Well, that's a tricky one. You certainly don't need to mention all the results in detail, but you're right. You might need to make a reference to them.
So how can I include that information, but without repetition?
Well, you can use noun phrases. That's a quick and easy way to sum up your results without having to describe them all over again.
Right, I see. So I'm not actually repeating the results, more summarizing them further. And can I refer to other work that's been done in the area?
Oh, sure. It's good to tie your work into what others say to support your interpretation, or to other work you've done.
And in terms of language, is there anything in particular I should be careful with?
Well, the most difficult thing I think is being concise, not using too many words. But that's always a problem for me too, actually.
Mhm. Can you recognize any missing words? The text, we talk about the results, right? The results section. And the text follows same order as the results, you mean? Uh, mhm, mhm, mhm. Okay, okay. The first one you haven't recognized, yeah? Highlight both my key and secondary findings. No, I think should be main key, not my. Yeah, main key and secondary findings. Okay. Any more words you can fill in? Include reference. Okay. And what does it mean be concise? No, concise, it's like стислий. Це стисло подавати інформацію мається. Yes, too many words. Don't use too many words. Like brief, yeah, brief information, not too many words. Okay. Okay, number 3. Make each paragraph relate to one of the research question. So if your research, for example, has 2 or 3 research questions, so each paragraph in the result or in the discussion part might include the answers, yeah, to these research questions. The result part, the answers, and the discussion part, the explanations. So that is why number 3 is research questions. And I don't know why it's short, because she also talked about heading. Maybe, oh no, it's sound. So she talked about headings and subheadings to make the text clearer. We use headings, заголовки, да, and subheadings, підзаголовки. So, and number 6, a piece of advice is to use subheadings. Okay. So, then next one. The phrase in bold, but B, this one, describe the results of a number of other experiments. We should match the beginnings to the endings, and these are the extracts from 8 different research papers. So number 1 is done for us. Let's try to guess the rest one. Number 2. Extremely should be a noun or adjective there, and it's high capacity. Okay, number 3. Four to one, yeah. Right, absolutely, yes. Number 4. Okay, perfect. Number 5. Perfect. Great. Yes. Number 6. Okay, great. And 7 and 8. Water, water. Water як запах. Okay. And moth is metallic. I don't know. Може, знаєте, як ото моль така якась. I don't know why, not butterfly, but moth also metallic. And number 8 left, it's there. Good there. Okay. Okay, right. And as we see, in different results might be different degree, of their achievements. It might be slight, minimal, or great, big, and so on. And these highlighted words, adjectives and adverbs, they show this degree, how large or small these achievements are. And let's divide them into 2 groups. The first group is large degree of achievement. Which adjectives or adverbs express it, can express it? Yes, right, extremely. Highly. Considerably. Yes, considerably це значно, суттєво, yes, right. And what about noticeable? Помітний. Where should we divide it? Into the first group or second? Into the first, okay, right. And about minimal changes, not so big, or results are not so great. How can be expressed? And margin, right? Perfect. Okay. The next is part D. The paragraph with the result section of a paper, and phrases and words in the box, which should be divided. This one, can you read? Divide. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, yes, as can. It's like explanation of figure. In. Mhm, mhm, yes. Mhm, mhm, yeah. Mhm. Сейчас як. Да. Mhm. Okay. So, as you see in the results section, we have to express how big or small our results and which we expected we've got. The next one, the discussion section. And here are a few questions about the discussion section. First of all, let's give a prediction. And after that, we will listen to another conversation and check whether we were right or not. Should the discussion section be in the same order as the result? How do you think?
I think yes, to simpler present It's the
Mhm.
main idea.
Explain, yeah, these results. Of course, it would be logical to use the same order, yeah, as the results. Okay, do you think that a person who is a researcher can mention any new results in the discussion section?
Yeah, he could be.
In the discussion section, it means like new results which were not mentioned in the results section.
I think he shouldn't.
So if you have several results, you should explain, give these results, present, yeah, them in logical order, maybe in order they were achieved. And after that, the same results interpret in the discussion section, but
Yep,
not
yep.
here. Like question, do I need to mention the results again?
I think yes, sometimes.
In the discussion section, when you give the explanation, should he copy paste the results?
It depends from what the result mean. For
Mhm.
example, if it's like a number, it's not hard.
Yes, okay. Can I refer to other work that has been done in the area? So, like results from other researchers can be mentioned in the discussion section.
Oh yeah, could be.
Yeah, even like maybe with the purpose of comparing, for example, or something like that. And the fifth, in terms of the language, is there anything particular about the discussion section? Speaking about discussion section.
Maybe formal language. Or
Of course, like scientific language, yeah, should. And also there should be also brief information, not so much. Like be concise. Yeah? Concise, it means like лаконичным, бути лаконичным. So let's check what the professionals says and compare our answers with the answers from the conversation.
Point 3. So my discussion section should explain how my results relate to my hypothesis, what they mean.
Yes. So, for example, you could talk about how the fluorine groups are important for electron transfer. That would be an interpretation.
Okay, so in terms of the order, should I work through my discussion in the same order I used for the results?
Yeah, definitely. You need to basically comment on all the results you mentioned in the same order and say what they mean.
And can I mention any new results in this part, or just the ones I've already written about in the results section?
If it's a result worth mentioning, it should be in the results.
And do I need to mention the results again? I assume not, but don't I need to remind the reader what the results were before I interpret them?
Well, that's a tricky one. You certainly don't need to mention all the results in detail, but you're right. You might need to make a reference to them.
So how can I include that information, but without repetition?
Well, you can use noun phrases. That's a quick and easy way to sum up your results without having to describe them all over again.
Right, I see. So I'm not actually repeating the results, more summarizing them further. And can I refer to other work that's been done in the area?
Oh, sure. It's good to tie your work into what others say to support your interpretation, or to other work you've done.
And in terms of language, is there anything in particular I should be careful with?
Well, the most difficult thing I think is being concise, not using too many words. But that's always a problem for me too, actually.
So, what were the answers of the lady who is giving advice about the first question?
The answers in 8 exercise. Oh.
Yes, the same questions were asked and answered.
Like mostly the same.
Yeah, mostly the same we discussed, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, about only this part. Don't you remember what she says? Do I need to mention the results again? What was her tip? It's like to speak about the results briefly and not to repeat the same phrases.
Yep.
Yeah, you can use noun phrase to summarize the result or interpret the findings. Okay. Next one. The discussion section of the paper uses the limitations, like by doing some experiment or something, we can do some things, and some things are limited for us. And it might include ideas for further research, because in one research it's impossible to explain, to discover everything what might appear during the work. So that is why two parts of discussion, it's limited, explain limitations if they are in the research, and give some ideas, maybe even for other researchers for further research, or maybe leave for yourself in other papers to research new ideas concerning the same theme, but new ideas or maybe new ways. And there are phrases which mean limitations and further research. Read these sentences and decide what it is, limitation or future research.
Okay. The process of charge transfer has not been investigated. I think it's maybe future research that it should be investigated in future.
But not recommended. Like in this work, it hasn't been investigated. Yeah. It's limitation of this work particularly.
Okay. The absorption might occur because of the temperature used or because of the vacuum. It's limitation. Try using higher temperatures at atmospheric pressure to see what happens. It's future research. Try doping with other TC and Q related molecules, also future research.
Mhm, mhm,
The graphene sample thickness is not consistent. Its limitation,
mhm,
and F40CNQ might be useful in silicon-based as well as graphene-based electronics. It's for future research
mhm,
and to investigate different ways to apply the F4 TCNAQ layer also for future research.
mhm. Okay, and some phrases like how it looks in the whole text. It's phrases devoted to limitations or future research ideas in this text are underlined. So the first one, is it limitation of future research?
For future research.
Further studies are needed. Mhm. The results of the present study might have been different. Is it if might have been different if?
It's limitation.
Right. Next one, it would be beneficial to investigate this further.
For future research.
Another limitation of the study, it's clear. First, the word is used, and future research also should also be encouraged. Also clear, yeah?
Yep.
Understand. It's too easy to understand. Okay. Next one. It's exercise 12B. Look at the phrases below, which can be used to express limitations and which suggestions for future research.
Okay. The scope of the study did not permit us to examine something.
Mhm.
It's like
Did not permit us. Не дозволив нам, да?
limitation. Given this limitation, we do not know if something limitation. It is hoped that this research can serve as a basic for future studies into it's for future research.
Yes.
And this is a clear limitation of study and raised further questions related to limitation.
It's like, yeah, limitation, but also yeah, the encouragement to continue with future research.
Okay, and these results are preliminary findings and suggest that further research on its future research.
Okay, and the part C, it's about describing the results, and we have to fill in the gaps. But I decided to use the results from a real article and filled the gap task, but article about, just a second, forgot to open this document, sorry. So also fill in the gaps about concluding paragraphs. paragraph.
Okay.
What about cyberspace? Mhm.
Okay.
You'll do it on your own and then tell me the answers, or you will read aloud.
Give me a few minutes and
Okay.
I think
Mhm.
I can read aloud next. Okay. I think very good start. Like okay, cyberspace and related technologies are one of the most important source of power in the third millennium. The characteristics of cyberspace, such allow enterprises, anonymity, vulnerability, and asymmetry, have created the phenomenon of power dissipation, which shows that if government have so far divided the game of power among themselves, then it must be other actors such as private companies, organized terrorists and criminal groups and individuals. Also, it is still governments that play
Mhm.
an important role in this.
Mhm.
Naturally, this phenomena will not deprive governments of their national security. This effect can uh, be dealt with in several ways. First, in the concept of security, national security can no longer uh, be definite, be,
Define.
be defined
Mhm.
in terms of military issues and internal and external borders. But today, the risk of declining quality of life of citizens is a threat to national security. The second is disappearance of the geographical dimension of cyber threats. In the past, military threats had a specific geographical location. As a result, it was not difficult to be evaluated,
Mhm.
at least in terms to identification. Um, yep. Third is the extent of vulnerabilities uh, posed by cyber threats.
Mhm.
These threats are sporadic, multi-dimensional, and because they are associated with sensitive networks and infrastructure, the levels of damage are very high. Fourth, as previous point, means cyber threats are not limited to governments, but individuals and companies will not be immune to the harms of these threats.
Mhm. Okay. So in original text, the only two words were in other order, like
Okay,
means
sorry.
in number one and shows in number 8
Mm,
in original
mm,
text.
okay.
And which sentence explained the problem?
Mm. I think it should be like in first sentences.
Okay, so like up to in this line, and yeah,
Yeah, it's large sentence.
Yeah. 2 sentences, the first 2 sentences. Okay, and the key findings of the current research.
Cyberspace.
Mhm.
Um,
Cybersecurity, yeah.
yeah.
And can you suggest what is the aim of the research is? What they want to achieve by doing this research?
Maybe to analyze the security of the military organizations and companies and personal people.
And if we open the article itself, so we will check our suggestion by reading abstract, because in abstract we all the time have the aim and have the main findings. Yeah. So if you read the abstract, you can find out whether your suggestion about the aim of the research is right or not. Yeah, you can read on your own and just tell me how close we are to the real aim.
Yeah, I think we were pretty close. Like analysis about cybersecurity and cyber attacks in other fields, in different fields.
Yes, and even here we have the phrase like this. Yeah, the aim of the study is to survey and
it's like an overview.
Review and the standard advances presented in the field of cybersecurity and investigate the challenges, weaknesses, and strengths of the proposed methods. So they propose methods of cyber security to prevent cyber attacks. Yeah. And the next question about the abstract. What is the aim of the abstract in any research in scientific articles? What is the aim? Why do we write them?
To represent the main idea of the text and and give
answer. Why is it useful for any research, for even not for researcher, but for those who are interested in?
Because they can take main information and decide they interested in or not.
Because yes, right. So to save our time, yeah. If I'm looking for the particular information, the first what we do, we are typing keywords, yeah, to find the information. After that, we read the headline. And if the headline is not enough to understand whether to read it or not, we read an abstract. Yeah, and from the abstract, we have a clear idea whether this resource is relevant for my investigation or not. So that is why it saves our time not to waste the time to the whole article, to read and understand. Maybe it's not relevant. Why do I need to read it? So that is why it's simplify our surf and time. Save our time, first of all. Okay. So come back to our course book, and the next part we'll discuss is introduction part. How do you think when researchers write the introduction part?
In the
If you speak
beginning,
about the whole research, it has several parts. When the introductory part is written
in the beginning of the research,
at the beginning.
yeah,
Mhm.
like after abstract.
No, abstract is the last part. When the whole research or article is ready, then we write the abstract. It's the last part for sure. The last step. I'm writing lots of different scientific articles, so I know the procedure of this process. So the last part is abstract and keywords. So first of all, we've got the idea. After that, we are looking for the material. Then, as for me, I'm writing if I've got the idea, I've got some research questions. I formulate, the research, the aim, why am I going to do it? Then my research questions. Then I'm looking for the information and for some researches which were done before. I analyze them, in introductory part, because it's like analysis of the materials which were written before. And after that, I write the main part, like the experimental part, if it is, for example, methodology in my case, or if it is the linguistic, so I write the not experimental then part, the research part, like itself, and then results, then results and discussion, then conclusion of the whole material, and after that the abstract, the last part of my research. Okay, so and speaking about the introductory part. The introductory part answers some questions, and these questions are presented in part B. What was I? Where is the ending?
What was I investigating?
Okay. Why was it
Important?
Yes. What was already
known about the subject of my research?
Yes. Right. What did I
expect to know after doing the research?
And how did I
Approach the problem?
Yes, right. So these are the questions we have to answer in our introductory part. And here are 5 extracts from the introduction. And according to these extracts, we have to divide these questions between these extracts.
Okay. Such an extreme environment was thought to be thought to be uninhabitable, but microbial ecology studies reported the presence of microorganisms. Could the surface composition of Mars protect life against radiation?
Mhm.
Maybe it's about importance.
Yes, why was the question, why was it important? Right, John?
Okay, the next. A number of studies have investigated different extreme Martian surface conditions on terrestrial microorganisms, and the list of works. It's about what was investigated, what we know.
Investigated, already known. Right, perfect.
Okay, potential habitability in the subsurface would increase if the overlaying material did play a protective role. At what we expect to know after doing the research, maybe.
No. What was I investigating?
Yeah, maybe.
It's my hypothesis, yes. If then So I give this hypothesis and formulate it and try to investigate whether it's right or not.
Okay. For many years now, scientists have speculated about the possibility of life on Mars. The discovery of liquid water on Mars would increase its habitability. Also about importance or expectations.
What I expect, yeah. Okay, and the last question which is left for number 5, which one?
Approach the problem.
Yeah, how did I approach the problem? So we report, it's like my personal investigation. Okay, next one. We 2A. A well-written introduction usually presents general information about the topic first, before specific information about the research. What do you think is the best order for the extracts in exercise 1C? So, or what is the best order of the question in introduction?
Okay. Maybe first of all we should approach the problem, explain why it's important, try to show what we expecting after our research. and explain what we know already and do some investigation.
And what about how did I approach the problem?
Yeah, it's the first one.
Approach the problem? No.
Why?
The first one, it's what was I investigating? Про що взагалі піде мова? The second one, what did I expect to know after doing the research? So, like my hypothesis. Oh, why, yeah, sorry. So, what I investigated and why was it important? Because if it's already done by many scientists, no need to do one more research, yeah? And you find something which was not investigated before, or you wanna maybe deeper learn something because not enough, yeah, not enough researchers were done. So why your work will be important. And after that, we discuss what was already known, yes, and only then, how did I approach the problem?
Yep, it's
The last part. Тобто, як я досяг того, що ну, як я, ну, тут тут did I approach, тому що ми вже пишемо як постфактум, да? А якщо ми формулюємо це як можемо умовним способом сказати, да? How would I? Якщо ми тільки починаємо нашу роботу. Тобто, залежно від того, чи вже робота зроблена чи ні, ми виберемо правильний час. Да? Якщо робота написана how did, якщо робота в процесі написання тільки почата, тоді how would I approach, як я збираюся досягти вирішення цієї проблеми. Ну, в будь-якому випадку це в самому кінці, і потім уже ваше main body, ви вже пішли в процес досягнення своєї мети. Okay.
I understand.
So, and we can see here highlighted words which can express phrases and words which can express hypothetical situation, current research or knowledge on a particular topic, general statement about past research which were done, the results, and or conclusions. So let's divide, maybe make it smaller to see. Can you see it this way?
Not,
Because if
not
like
most
this,
of them.
to see their lines and the words to divide between.
Yep.
So a hypothesis or hypothetic situations, which words can express it? Hypothetic.
For the first, maybe could
Reported? Reported? Is it hypothesis?
not reported. Could the surface
Yeah.
composition of Mars protect life against radiation?
Could, yes, could, it might be hypothesis. And one more word is here.
Yeah.
So could protect and hypothetic situation would increase.
Yeah.
I also not sure yet. Just give the suggestion. With the help of could and would, we can give the suggestion, but not sure yet. But B, but B, current research or knowledge on a particular topic.
Report.
Current situation, yes, report. But C, general statements about past research.
Have speculated. Maybe.
Yes, have speculated. What else?
Have investigated.
Absolutely. Yes, have speculated, have investigated. And the last part, the results or conclusions taken from specific past research.
Also reported.
Reported, because in this current research we use report present. Reported. 3 more words. This group.
We able to. Maybe.
We're able to. Yes.
And decrease.
Decreased.
No, and found.
And found. Okay, so for hypothetic situation, we use what tense or what form of the verbs?
Plural. Oh, not. I don't know how it called.
Would and could. Yeah, would and could.
Yeah.
Real conditional. It might be second and real because we are not sure about the results when we formulate our hypothesis. Just it's formulated at the beginning of our research. We use unreal conditional in this case. And usually it's the second type of unreal conditional. Speaking about current research, what tense is used? Report.
Like present.
Yeah, present. Right. Speaking about the results, you mentioned have investigated and have speculated. What tense is it?
Present perfect.
Yes, present perfect. And the results or conclusions taken from the specific past research. Yes. So consequently, we can easily guess the tense.
Yeah, past simple.
Yes, past simple, right. Okay, now we can make it bigger. Read an extract from the introduction of a paper about the ability of lichens and microbes to survive in deep space, ignoring the gap. How many of the questions in exercise 1B means these questions? Can we answer after reading this abstract? Just look through and
okay. After reading extract in previous exercise. Yep.
No, this one. Just ignore these words in dash. So just look through
Okay.
and how many questions you can answer. Those main questions of introductory part. I mean.
Okay. What was investigation about?
Mm-hmm.
Like the topic of the paper is the ability of lichens and microbates to survive in deep space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What is main approach, I think, or purpose of this?
You mean how did I approach the problem? Or why is it important?
Maybe more about importance.
Mm-hmm. Why is it important?
Like the purpose of study mentioned in the extract is like information on the resistance of microbial communities and lichens to outer space conditions during the biopen 6.
Lichens, it's lishai.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
During the biopen's flight of ESA on board a Russian Photon satellite.
Mm-hmm.
It's about importance.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What was already known about the subject of the subject of the research? Is there any information already known? What is already known? Someone reported like this.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's the investigation, the research of the previous scientist about the microorganisms embedded into the silk road and re-entry capsule simulating the entry of meteorite, which did not survive. So it's about the previous works. Yeah. How did I approach the problem? Do we have an answer to this question here?
I think we haven't. Because it should be the last, but we have the last aim of this work.
Mm-hmm. Why is it important? Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Not why. What I want that to investigate. Okay. And the question 3, what did I expect to know after doing the research?
Maybe it's believed that if sufficiently protected by meteorite-like material, microorganisms may also survive the journey through space.
It's believed.
Yep.
Yeah. Further information about resistance. survive. It's believed that if sufficiency protected. Yeah. Yes. Because may also survive. So it's like hypothetical. Yeah. Hypothetical.
Yes.
Okay, and if we open the brackets, what tenses will we use in each part? Number one, what tense would be the best solution?
Present simple.
Recent advances. The word recent helps us.
Past simple, like provided.
No, it's not finished yet because recent doesn't mean it's finished.
Okay, present perfect.
Yes, have provided. And about legends here also.
Have been.
Have been. Okay. So number 3, it's the
Past simple, reported.
Reported. Right. And number 4.
Not didn't survive.
Yes. Sequence of tenses. If you use in the first part past simple, so consequently in the second part. And the aim of this work, what tense?
Present simple.
Yes, present is. And here is the last task. Very interesting, by the way, to pay attention because I really before haven't paid so much attention to this situation. Like we have 2 sentences here about the same information, but the first sentence we start with the author, yeah, and the second sentence we start with the information itself. So we can conclude that information is given the same information, yeah, but it is given in different ways. Why? Why?
Maybe the first concrete on the author's person, that he is like a great scientist, and because of that he can do the great approach. But in the second we can emphasize on the main idea and
on the information itself.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Right your arm. So, and here we usually use author prominent citation. Yeah, right. So we highlight on the author because he's prominent in this field. Yeah. And information prominent citation. So for us, more important the information which we are presented here. Yeah. Okay. So, and if we speak about the author prominent citation, we deal with what? Among A, B, C, D, we deal with what?
Ideas. We wish.
With ideas we wish to explore in paper and when comparing this one, comparing ideas from variety of sources. An information prominent citation is usually used when dealing with information which is not controversial and supporting a particular point. It was interesting
Yeah.
to get to know why it is written in different ways. Okay, thank you very much. So, and our last lesson, the next Tuesday, will be devoted to annotations. We will discuss their structure, how the composition, the main phrases, and we will analyze them, divide into and so on. So, because your exam written part will be to write an abstract.
Okay. In which way will be the exam?
First of all, the written part, I consider when we have the consultation, I will send you these articles which you have to read and to write an abstract to them. So you will send them me back with the abstracts, and the examination day, it will be just an oral part where you present your research in hypothetical way or in real way, I don't know. But you have to tell about the main aim again, but more deeply than it was in winter. Almost answering these questions which we discussed about introductory part. Why is it important? What have I investigated, or what am I investigating? Depending on which stage you are, it depends the way of presenting your material. Yeah, what I would like to receive or to get or to achieve, and so on. So, what will be your procedure? In more details about your research. So oral answer about the research without presentation, just speaking.
Okay. Thank you.
And the written part will be the annotation to the article, scientific article. Not test, because we've got academic English, scientific English, and I don't see the reason to write the test. Okay, thank you very much. See you next week, and have a nice rest of the week.
Yes,
Goodbye.
thank you too. Goodbye.